Right. And then we do that. Call to order at 6 o'clock. Please stand for the flag. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. General consent? Okay. Thank you. In regards to organizational report, CUTA,
I think that
they are not here.
they're here.
They're
just
here.
not reporting today.
Okay. CSEA, Naisha?
I don't believe she is on for reporting.
She's not here either. Okay, very good. Well, we'll just continue with the reports and presentations. We'll talk local performance indicator presentation by Mr. Mike Jordan, the infamous Mr. Mike Jordan.
Grab the clicker real quick.
All right, good evening. And thank you to both of our audience members for showing up tonight. Told Eugene, setting up all these chairs, I think we're a little optimistic.
Yeah.
So tonight, I'm here to, can we put the slideshow? Oh, perfect. Tonight, I'm just here to talk about the dashboard local indicators. This goes on the California dashboard, and it's an interesting law. We do need to present by June. However, this won't even go live until December. So we'll input it into the dashboard site. They'll update it, and then all districts in about the first, second week of December, this will go live. So, local indicators. So this is just going to be an overview. You have in your packet the actual template that we use that will get uploaded to the website here coming up. But just a reminder, we put everything in. It goes in December. It'll go live. This is a self-reflection tool. So they give us a series of questions. We reflect on those questions, and then we self-reflect. And those are considered the district's indicators of what's going on. The district's required by law to present these to the school board in June. That's what we are checking that box right now. This is part of the LCAP. LCFF you'll be hearing about. These are priorities that are covered in the local indicators. So these are the local indicators that the state has every school district put together. There's the basics, teachers, instructional materials, facilities, and you'll see me coming up every about 3 months talking about the Williams complaint. That's part of this. We also have the Williams audit, which is an in-person audit where they come in once a year now, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we have parent and family engagement and local climate survey, and you'll see last year, this is from our current dashboard. We met all of those, and we will meet again this coming year. So here's the main takeaways. I'm not going to read through the whole report here. I'm just going to give you the takeaways, then I'll answer any questions that you may have. So under LCFF priorities 1, 2, and 7, that's the instructional materials and facilities. These are also when you hear about the Williams complaint, settlement, the requirements from that. All of our students have access to a standards-aligned curriculum and a broad course of study. And you can see that in the MTSS document. It talks about all the different curriculums and all the different tiers of support that we have for students. Our facilities are safe, functional, and clean. I'm using that wording exactly from the actual template. And that is evidenced by we have a Williams in-person inspection. We had one at a couple of sites this past fall. And we will have it again coming up this coming fall, where they come in, they inspect the facilities, they actually do a walkthrough, and they give you a met or not met, and we met at that point. And then obviously when I come up and say there's nothing to report, when I do my Williams complaint reports, that would be to the curriculum and the bathrooms and that kind of stuff as well. Under the parent and family engagement, this is what we put down there. These are all the different ways that parents and family members and guardians can get involved, from school site councils to PTAs to booster clubs, advisory committees. We also offer homeless and family services and support. We offer meals to families. We offer interpreting services. There's all different ways that help to foster that parent and engagement. And then we also use the Panorama Survey twice per year out to all families, and that's where we gather a lot of the data. And then finally, the School Climate Survey. Again, that's used, we use Panorama for that. That is given twice per year. Then the site administrators sit down, we review and analyze the results, and they come up with goals that they're going to work on for the next year based on those results. In the actual local indicators, we're only required to report out on one grade level. So we picked Oak Hill 6th grade. But you can see all of the results for all grade levels and parents through the Panorama link. And this concludes our fabulous presentation.
Is there any questions for Mr. Jordan?
I actually, sorry. Oh, I'm still holding my mic down apparently, sorry. I was gonna say, now when they come out and do the walkthrough, and you
Yes.
said it's in the fall, do you guys know when they're coming, or is it kind of, they surprise you and just show up, like that type of audit?
So we know there's two walkthroughs. One is for facilities and one is for instructional materials. So they do 2/3 of them we know they're coming. 1/3 supposedly we don't know, but they tell us the day before just to make sure there's not going to be some assembly or something going on. And then on the instructional materials one, they actually go in, they count the number of kids in the room, and they count the number of textbooks that they're supposed to be in there, make sure it's a 1-to-1 ratio in the room. So it's a physical count at that point. Facilities-wise, we have the maintenance and facilities department. They walk through with them, fill out a bunch of questionnaires in advance, kind of do some pre-interview kind of stuff, and then they walk through.
Thank you.
Is it only instructional material, or do they also count Chromebooks? Or any?
They did count Chromebooks as well. If there's anything that requires a curriculum that requires a Chromebook, so for example, the high school, our English curriculum's online,
Right.
then they would count.
And is it a random facility? Do they just, how do they choose which facility to go to?
So in our case, they pick 3. For our district, it's 3 sites. I'm not sure what the formula is, how many. Like in a San Juan, I'm sure there's way more than that. But for us, it's 3.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr.
I
Jordan.
have a quick question on the bullet where it discusses won't be published until December. Will we, as the board, have the opportunity to see that before it is published?
So it's actually in your packet right now, in your board packet. The answers to the questions, that's what gets published. So we put our answers in. I don't know why they have us do it this early and then wait 6 months, but that's
Because it might take them 6 months to do it.
Yeah,
possible.
I did see the responses. I didn't know if they were subject to change or if that was just boilerplate language or if it was from last year or whatever. Okay. So what we saw in our packet is what will be presented and
It's
published.
basically a cut and paste.
Yeah, they take all those formula pieces, or not formula, the wording, and they actually just put it right up on the web.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Committee update. Mr. Putnam.
Good evening. Sites are going still. Progress at Rex Fortune today, or yesterday and today, was the second layer of asphalt was laid down. So we actually have a asphalted hard court that will eventually have a bunch of students running around on. And they were continuing. They're still working there at this time to complete all the asphalt for the parking lot, the fire road, all that around. Site is still progressing forward. CTE project behind us is moving along. There are some logistical delays coming from the supply chain that we're just waiting for certain components to come in so we can move forward with other items, but other work is continuing on that. And then the maintenance crew, grounds crew are out working, doing all their various summer projects. And then the HVAC projects at both the 500 wing here at Center High School and at North Country are moving along at a good pace, and they'll actually start installing some ductwork this next week, and then the following week actually be able to start getting some of the units initially installed. So that's where we are.
And if I remember correctly, they'll be fully installed possibly by December?
No, these will all be done before school starts.
Awesome.
We're really back on the school schedule? I thought it was been delayed.
No, this is for the HVAC upgrades that we're doing at North Country and Center High School.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those are the ones that will be done. All that was all the product that we had to order last November, so we would have everything here so we could actually get those done. The CTE project is the one that is right now having delays due to the supply chain issues.
Any other?
What about,
Nancy, can you turn your microphone on?
sorry. What about Rex Fortune?
Rex Fortune is still moving along on schedule.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from Mr. Putnam?
On the CTE is, I know the goal is, but is the expectation still that it will be ready for the beginning of school?
At this point, because of the delays that we have, it probably won't be at the first of school. It could be a month into school before that happens. The good news is, though, is we do have current spaces for those programs, so it will not hinder those programs, and then we will transition them in as soon as we can.
And Richard, it's as a result of some power issues with the parts. that would be
That's the
powers.
number one issue that we have is getting the all the final components for being able to power up the buildings for the CTE. All the other stuff will be coming in. A couple doors are still delayed, but those should be coming in towards the end of the month. But other than that, it is just actually waiting for the power, and the manufacturer sent us a letter saying we're having trouble getting everything that we need to finish building the specific units that we need for you.
So just on the same note, so Rex Fortune opening still July 26th, and then the CTE is TBD because we're waiting to see. We want to make sure we do the dedication and all that opening, that the facility actually is ready to go. So it'll probably be September, realistically.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Mr. Putnam.
Thank you.
We'll continue on for comments from the audience regarding items not on the agenda. Is there any public comment from anybody in the audience? There's no public comment. How about online?
I have no public comments online.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll. Consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. General consent? Thank you very much, and we'll continue on to business items. Business item A, second reading, PB 6146.1, high school graduation requirements. Do I have a motion to bring it to the floor for discussion?
So moved?
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? I see none. Is there any online?
There are none online.
Thank you, Mrs. Hunt. Board discussion, is there any new board discussion on this item? Ms. Sammons?
No.
Thank you. Mrs. Anderson?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Ballin?
No.
Mr. Bruno?
Nothing new.
Me neither. Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve business item A?
So
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. General consent. Okay, moving on to business item B, second reading, policies, regulations, and exhibits. Do I have a motion to bring it to the floor for discussion?
So move.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Oh,
We'll take Mr. Bruno, thank you. Is there any public comment? Is there any comments online, Ms. Carroll?
I have no comments online.
Thank you. Board discussion, is there any new discussion from the board? Trustee Salmons?
No comment.
Thank you. Trustee Anderson?
No comment?
Thank you. Trustee Bruno?
nope.
Trustee Ballin? Negative. The board does not have any comments either. Is there a motion to approve business item B, second reading of policies, regulations, and exhibits as a whole or a block?
I'll move to approve it as a block.
Thank you. And Mr. Ballin had the second, and is there general consent? Thank you very much. We'll move on to business item C. 2023-24 Local Control and Accountability Plan, which is the LCAP and annual report. Do I have a motion to bring it to the floor for discussion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Do I have a?
Second.
Thank you. And then there's Mrs. Coronado.
There have been no changes to the LCAP from last week when I presented it to you.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Coronado. I appreciate that. Is there any public comment? Is there any comments online?
There are no public comments online.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. Do I have any board discussion, any new discussion? Trustee Salmons?
No new discussion for me.
Thank you. Trustee Anderson? Trustee Ballin?
Nothing new.
Thank you. Trustee Bruno?
I'm going to cheat slightly here. It's not new, but I want to once again extend our thanks to Lisa and Tammy Jabali for putting this together. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I concur with that, Mr. Bruno. Do I have a motion to approve business item C?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mrs. Anderson, can you shut your microphone off? Thank you. General consent. Very good, thank you. And we'll move on to business item D at 6:17, just to make note. Budget, business item D, budget for fiscal year 2023-24. Do I have a motion to bring it to the floor for discussion?
I'll motion to bring it to the floor.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. Ms. Coronado, do you have anything new?
Yeah, I made a lot of changes I have to go over. Just kidding. Nothing's been changed since last week.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any board discussion, anything new? Ms. Salmons?
Nothing new.
Thank you. Mrs. Anderson?
Just job well done. Your office is amazing.
Mr. Ballin?
Nothing new.
And once again, thank you to you and Christina for
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass that along.
And I concur with them. Do I have a motion to approve business item D?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And thank you. General consent. Very good. We'll move on to board and superintendent report. Ms. Salmons?
Okay, perfect. I don't have to hold the button. First and foremost, thank you so much for everyone for your reports and all your information, your hard work, all of last year, and I know we're going to have a great year next year as well. So since the last time I did a board report, I was able to attend all of the end of year, not all, but a few of the end of year celebrations. I was unable to go to Riles. I had to finish out my duties to help Oak Hill since some of the other board members were unavailable. So I was able to see their first kindergarten promotion, which we brought in last year as a PTA, and the parents were so thankful, as well as the first sixth grade promotion in years. So we had a lot of people, and we realized that we might need to do it outside next year. That's the PTA thinking that for next year, because so many families were so excited, so they were able to come out, and they really, like, one family I think brought 15 people, but it was just showing the excitement that the families had to be able to see even their elementary students be able to promote. So it was really fun and heartwarming. And then I was able to go to McClellan High School's graduation, which Miss Anderson was so nice to give me some tissues because it was the most heartfelt, just genuine, and really, I've never seen any high school graduation that way. The rose ceremony was amazing, and I hope they never change that. So if you ever get a chance to go, please do. And then I also was able to help pass out the diplomas for Center High School. And as always, it was a beautiful, beautiful graduation. The sun was setting perfectly, and all the kids had amazing smiles. So I was really happy to be a part of all of those end of the year celebrations. And then on a Saturday for Dudley, Elementary, their PTO actually did a phenomenal job with the community event. I was able to go as a mom and take my kids, and it was hot. But they had the bounce houses and they set it up perfectly because they actually had water stations. They had free water for everyone in attendance. The police officers came out, sheriff department passed ice cream for anyone who walked up to their booth. They also had food vendors, everyone there. Antelope Lions Club was there giving out free hot dogs. They even had like sell food vendors, so it was a little bit for everyone. So no kid went hungry, no one went thirsty, as well as they had a water play station. So I got squirted a few times, but it was awesome. So I just wanted to say great job to Dudley's PTO because I know they worked really hard and they were very nervous, but it was phenomenal. So I love seeing all the work that's going into our community as well as our schools are working really hard. So thank you guys.
Mrs. Anderson.
I think all of the graduation ceremonies were wonderful, and she's right, McClellan's is always a heart stopper. I mean, when those kids, many of them have gone through so much in their lives, and you just see the happiness and triumph in their gait. You know, they're just so happy and have accomplished so much to them. It's a great achievement, and their families are so proud of them. Some of them the first graduates in their families, and you just get a real sense that it's a great event for them, and probably the last graduation for some of them. So it's a very special time, and we enjoy it so much. The rose ceremony, she's right, it's very, very touching. Tears with moms and dads and kids all alike. The high school graduation went on without a hitch. I think this year was probably, as a whole, the most respectful graduations that we've ever seen. I don't know if it's because these kids went through COVID and now there's just a new respect for education and being in school, that their whole attitude seems to have changed, and it's nice to see. Everybody was happy to be there and happy to do what they were supposed to be doing. So it was just really a nice situation, and I feel like we're ending this year on a very, very positive note. This is one of the most fantastic boards I've ever been a part of, and I think we're going to be doing some very, very good things in the near future, and I can't wait.
Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. Mr. Ballin.
Thank you, President Pope. So while this month hasn't been as past month hasn't been as busy as previous months since I've taken office, was an exciting period. As we wind down the school year, there's a different melody in the air. Times for students and, unfortunately, some staff to move on to the next chapters of their lives. So I wish all a safe and relaxing summer, and look forward to seeing everybody during the beginning of the next school year. So this past month, I was very honored and humbled to be asked to attend and participate in a number of graduation events. On the 18th, I attended McClellan Senior Dinner at McClellan High. Such awesome students who have overcame such adversity to graduate from high school. Some of the stories I heard were very compelling and moving. Congratulations to them all. On the 24th, I attended McClellan High School at Center's High Theater. It was nice to see how proud the graduates' families were of their children, and rightfully so. On the 25th, I attended Wilson Riles promotion in the Riles Quad. Fortunately, it wasn't too hot, and it was great to see all these students celebrate moving on to high school. On the 25th, also on the 25th, I attended Center High graduation in Garrity Stadium. This was probably the largest school event I've ever attended thus far as a board member. And my hat is off to all those that made it such a successful time for our graduating students. We should all be proud of their accomplishments and preparing them for the world for which they are about to enter. And as Trustee Anderson said, I have to reiterate as well that I was very pleased at the general disposition of all the graduating and promotional students. They were all so well behaved, and it was very nice to see, very nice. Also, on the morning of Saturday the 10th, I attended along with the rest of the board, a training and development day, training centered on the Brown Act, and was very informative. We also worked on the board's governance guideline, which required completion, so it was a very productive day. I'd like to thank Superintendent Lair, district level staff, and all the principals and their staff for this last school year. All the time and dedication you have given is what Center Joint Unified School District is known for in educating our district's children and makes us one of the top-rated districts in the region. In conclusion, as I do at every meeting, I ask that anyone that watches this board meeting, live or recorded, to know that you're welcome to come here in person to attend these meetings. Your presence would not only be welcome, but is encouraged by the board, district staff, and school officials, and should you desire to provide any input you believe would be helpful and beneficial to the board, the district, our schools, or our students would also be appreciated. Also note that we appreciate any comments on any of the district social media platforms as well, such as YouTube, Facebook, etc. Additionally, myself, as I am sure others on the board and Superintendent Lair, are more than happy to receive any email correspondence you wish to send. All of our email addresses are on the district website. Remember, it is you, the parents and the guardians of our students, that have the strongest voice in how your children are educated. That concludes my report for this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ballin. Mr. Bruno?
Okay, not to be too repetitive, but I also got to attend the McClellan graduation. And as everyone else has said, it is so moving. You get to see the real connection that the staff at that school has made with those students, and it is absolutely wonderful. I love hearing the advice that each student would give to incoming students and what they're planning to do with their lives. Frankly, I wish we could do that at the center graduation as well, but logistically it just wouldn't work. And the rose ceremony, the same thing. Because the graduation class is smaller at McClellan, they really do a very personalized ceremony that is so moving. And then the graduation ceremony at Riles was also wonderful. I noticed that this year they actually had a parking space reserved for the superintendent, and they kept it moving along at a brisk pace. It was quite wonderful. And then the center graduation was also a lot of fun. Some of those students were just really enjoying themselves, and their energy was contagious. And I frankly just had a great time at all three of those events. But at the same time, it really drove home a point for me that none of the students were there to see us. We're just window dressing. But the connections that they have with the teachers and the principals, really our job is to guide the superintendent, and he guides the principals and they guide the teachers. And, I think that everyone in this district is doing just such a fantastic job, and seeing those connections that the teachers have with students is just, it's absolutely wonderful. And that's at every school site that I've seen. The high schools, the students are telling the teachers how much they've changed their lives. But then at the elementary schools, the teachers are running up and giving the principal hugs, or you can just see how much they adore their teachers. And, I still have very fond memories of some of the junior high teachers and the things that they did to help my kids along. And it's frankly absolutely wonderful, and I thank all the district staff for everything you guys do. And then, as Howard mentioned, we had our workshop this past Saturday, and I thought it was great how everyone worked together. We didn't necessarily all agree on all things, but we disagreed respectfully and talked things out and reached conclusions. And frankly, I enjoy working with all of you, so thank you guys very much. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Bruno. Mr. Lair?
We had graduations. I won't believe it. I thought they all turned out fantastic. Also, just behind the scenes, whether it was Center Highs, McClellan's, the kindergarten, the preschool ones, we just need to acknowledge the parents and the staff that put them together, because they're the ones who behind the scenes, we don't see all that. We just show up and it's all done. So I want to thank them for all the hard work that they did to make that happen, because they make it look easy. And, you know, we can all sit on the side and say, well, maybe we should do it this way or that way, but they work their tails off to make it really nice for the families. Also, the governance meeting we had last week, I thought the dialogue between the board was very productive. I think the team we have is fantastic. Again, we welcome our newest members, you know, Adriana Salmons and Mr. Ballin. He emailed me over, I think, probably at end of May after graduation, said, I can't believe it. I finished a half a year of school already. So it's just a great team. It feels good. I think we will be able to accomplish a lot. So I appreciate the role and the effort you're all making in this. Additionally, a couple other, I guess not fun things, but fun things. We did receive word today on the future land transfer hearings. Those are going to come up in August. So if you remember, there's a petition for a family's subdivision to move out. I'll get the dates to you. I don't remember off the top of my head. So there'll be one in Placer County at the CV Center and one actually out in SCOE. And it sounds like what they'll be doing is evaluating whether or not CEQA, whether or not there needs to be further environmental impact study as a result. So I don't think it's the answer to it yet. I think it's more of that next phase. So we'll keep you updated on that. And then second to last, as a superintendent and as directors who attend these board meetings all the time, there is one thing, sorry board, we love you to death, but there's one thing we always do in our careers. We always think, well, how many more board meetings do you think we have in our careers? And I just want to acknowledge Mr. Grimes, who is attending his last meeting tonight. And it's funny, it real dawned on me on the way, and I'm like, this is David's last board meeting. Not to say we don't love you all, but one of the things we do look at. So I want to acknowledge and thank him for his years of service once again. And thank you, David. You've helped me out quite a bit. And finally, have a great summer.
Thank you, Mr. Lair. I did attend all the graduations as well, but I do want to make note about the workshop. After the workshop, I sent a quick text to the superintendent and said, I really like our team, because we did do a great job on Saturday. And as Steve said, you know, we didn't agree on everything, but we came to a conclusion and everybody supported the decision, and it's going to be a great year. So thank you, team. Thank you for Mr. Lair and Miss Carol Hunt for getting everything together for us. Great job, everybody. And then Mr. Grimes, I've known you for many, many, many years. So good luck to you. Good luck to your family. Good luck to Pam. She's leaving at the end of the month as well. Safe travels, and keep us posted on your life. And lastly, I would like to thank all of our PTOs, PTAs, and our booster club, all our family or our parent clubs for all the hard work they do. You know, we can't do it without you. The events, the staff, the students, it's much appreciated. So thank you very much. And on that note, we'll go to advanced planning, the next meeting. Can I address Mr. Grimes? Can you turn on your microphone first?
May I just, Mr. Grimes, I personally want to thank you for all of the years you've put into this district and all the tears you put into this district, I'm sure, and the many smiles along the way. You have touched the life of so many children. And just a deep thank you from all of us. I know you're going to go spend lots of time with grandchildren and have lots of fun along the way, but you have done so much for Center, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the public as well, that you've done a great job. Thanks.
Very nice. So we're going to advance planning. Future date is August 16th, which is a Wednesday, right here at 6 o'clock in the boardroom. Suggested agenda items we will have on August agenda, the discussion, as Mr. Bruno would like to add, on regards the district paying for election fees. So that will be on the agenda for August. And is there any other items? I hear none. That means we will adjourn at 6:34.